everyone. Welcome to Our Town at NCTV. I'm Jill Hindley Lawrence, and today I have a great guest, Jay Talerman, a Norfolk resident and candidate for re-election for town moderator. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you.
Yeah, glad to have you here. I've never sat and chatted with you like this.
I know we've chatted around a bonfire, around the pond skating, but never right here.
Never here.
Yep.
Well, good. Well, welcome. And this is election season, so you are running for re-election for town moderator, and you have been in that position for 12 years. 12 years total. Do you want to tell us quick about those years, about starting in 2013? Yeah,
sure. So I was the deputy moderator in 2013.
I didn't know we had one of those.
We did. It's an official role.
Okay.
And I ended up serving at town meeting in 2013. It was the last year as the former moderator, Cece Van Tyne, was giving up her position. Right. And then I ran in 2014 for the first time. This will be my sixth term.
Because the term
we started out with
changed.
1 year terms, and then in 2016 was my first 3 year.
3 year, and you've had 3 of those.
Correct.
Okay, we got the math, and now you're running for another 3 year term.
Another 3 year term.
Okay, and town experience other than moderator. Let's go through that a little bit, because I know you're on the Conservation Commission, because I remember that, but you also Council of Aging. So you were the chair of the Conservation Commission for
a while. So I had a couple of stints on conservation. So we moved originally to town in 1995.
Okay.
We moved away briefly, but moved back in 2000.
Yeah.
And pretty much soon after that, I started volunteering for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My day job, I'm a municipal lawyer, so I represent cities and towns. So it was kind of a natural fit, and there were folks that I knew in town hall who kind of took advantage of some of my expertise. So I got asked to serve on what we actually had a golf course advisory committee, because there was a proposed golf course over off the pond on Lawrence Street. And then I was on the town administrator search committee when Jack Hathaway was selected as town administrator. Goes back a few years.
So you hired, you were on the
I was on the
committee
that made those recommendations. And Conservation Commission for a number of years. I was chair there. As a Conservation Commission member, I was asked to serve on the Community Preservation Committee, which I did briefly.
As that representative.
Yep. I was on the Bylaw Review Committee, and I was on the Master Plan Committee.
Okay.
After I was on the Community Preservation, on the Conservation Commission, I did 9 years for the Council on Aging.
Oh, wow.
I joined as a favor to a friend who was then the chair, and after the first meeting, they made me the chair. Okay. And then I was the chair for 9 years.
Okay.
And it was a great experience.
Oh, good.
A little outside of what I would normally do. I was the youngest member at the time. I'd probably be middle of the pack now. It was great. And then towards the end of that tenure, there was some overlap while I was the moderator. But I've been the moderator only since 2013. 2014 elected officially.
Okay. All right. Good to know. And you've lived in town in Norfolk since '95, with a brief move away and move back. But the fact that you moved back so quickly.
I love it here. I grew up in Medfield. We raised our daughters here. Both went through the Norfolk and KP school systems, had a great time. And, they're long gone.
I know.
Living elsewhere. But we're hanging around, they come and visit, thankfully. Not enough. But we love it here. We've been here for a long time.
Yeah. I know it is a great town. Yeah. And it's a great town in part because of the people who volunteer their time to serve the town. So just to kind of finish off this, learning about you, tell us about your day job again, and just expand on it if you would a tiny bit. As an attorney,
So my law firm, every town has a town council. a town attorney.
Yes.
And my law firm serves as the town attorney for 40 towns.
Okay, in Massachusetts.
In Massachusetts only.
yeah.
And several other towns as kind of part-time attorney. So I do this all day, every day. So I give advice on town meeting. I train moderators. I train select board members. I give advice on how to structure their town meeting warrants.
Yeah.
I give them fiscal advice on how to make decisions on borrowing and appropriations. I do their permitting work, zoning and planning and conservation work. I help them with open space purchases and every
All
other
of the
kind
legal
of thing,
and-
everything else they might need a lawyer for. So, this has always been an opportunity for me to give something back.
Yeah.
The moderator role was especially great for me because it's not a policy-making board, unlike select board where you're setting policy, or Concom where you're deciding people's permits and those are policy making.
Yeah.
This is more just, I keep the trains running on time, so I help run town meeting.
Yes.
I do appoint
That's
the
your
advisory board,
Right. And that's
but
the
my
other-
main job is running
town
town
meeting.
meeting. I don't take positions on articles. I just make sure that things run smoothly. And given my role as a lawyer, where I also don't make policy decisions, but my knowledge base on all the laws around town meeting, I thought it was a great fit.
Yeah.
And it's been, I think a great fit. And, usually the reviews are pretty good following town meeting, but it's just always been a great way for me to give back. I've just really enjoyed it. I want to keep doing it, for at least another term.
Yes.
So.
Okay. And obviously in that main role of town moderator, you have to exhibit that neutrality at town meeting, right? Where you are moderating, so you're
and it's difficult. I mean, you know me, I'm an
Yeah.
opinionated person.
Yeah.
I have politics,
Yeah,
and
we all
I'm not
do.
immune to that. And I have things that I think the town should do with their money and the decisions they should make. But when I get behind the podium and put the gavel down, I have to do it fairly. There are folks I know on the left that are disappointed with me when I tell them that it's time to stop talking, and probably folks on the right that think the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's important that you neutrally get the job done. And town meeting, I think it's important that people understand that town meeting is not like the public square where you can say anything you want. There's a place for
First
that.
Amendment. Kind
But
of,
town meetings, like our legislature, we're
Right.
like the House and the Senate.
Right. There's rules.
We're passing the laws of the town. We pass bylaws, we pass a budget, we purchase land. Those are really the three principal jobs
Okay.
of town meeting.
Which is
It operates according to a warrant, which is the agenda for town meeting, and it's
it's chronological. It's listed in
It
order
is,
in
yep.
the warrant.
And it happens generally twice a year here in Norfolk. It's the moderator's job to make sure each article gets discussed, that people get to speak on that article, that people don't stray too far, and that we get the work done. People talk about town meeting, oh my gosh, it takes so long. How can I get there? It's 4 or 5 hours. Be thankful. I attend some town meetings that are 6 days.
Oh my God.
So to me, it's always been really important to be respectful of people's time.
Yeah.
It's hard enough. We all work. A lot of us younger folks have kids and they have to go to things. We're all tired at the end of the day. Having to spend a night at town meeting, while I think everyone should, it's sometimes really hard. So I want to make sure that we keep the discussion focused. We still give people an opportunity to debate issues, and but that we get the work done. I made a pledge to myself when I started this in 2014. I would never have town meeting last more than a night,
One night.
it never has.
Okay.
Since
Because it
I-
has spilled. Is it in way back history? It can go more
a
than
few
one.
times,
Yeah.
but not.
Resume.
Not saying that there was like a history of it, but it's
No.
been really important to me. I look out there, I see people getting tired.
Yeah.
Very often there's like a big Celtics game or a Bruins
Oh,
game
that's right,
going
'cause
or
it's in June.
something. So,
Yeah.
it's really
Or May.
important for me that people get an opportunity to speak and vote and then be able to get on with their lives and not spend time having to listen to something where the train is running off the
Right,
tracks.
and it's getting away from the relevancy of what's
Right.
at hand, maybe.
And it can be difficult because each article might invoke a different law. And each procedure might be specific to a specific parliamentary procedure where, a motion and a second and a motion to amend and a motion to cut off debate and a motion for reconsideration. Those things are really technical.
Yeah.
Our town meeting is guided by a book called Town Meeting Time. That's the Massachusetts, as exciting as that sounds.
Town meeting
time. It's a book.
Oh, okay.
Moderators use it
Oh.
in almost every town. Some use Robert's Rules of Order. Most
I've heard of
use
that.
Town Meeting Time.
Okay.
It's a book that it's been around since the 60s. Moderators write it. The new fourth edition came out, and I'm one of the writers.
Oh, wow.
So I guess we get the benefit of having the guy that wrote the book in a way. So I take that all those procedures really seriously because they're intended to make sure we're efficient and we're fair.
Okay.
And that's kind of, to me, the calling card of what makes a good moderator. And kind of
to be efficient and fair.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And it seems like the several moderators that I have known since I've been here, which is 25 years, have been attorneys. But that's not a requirement.
No, it's not a requirement at all. I think it can be a benefit. So, and I think there's a difference too. So Dan Winslow, Frank Gross, and Cece Van Tine, all were lawyers.
Yes.
None of them were municipal lawyers.
No, true.
So I think at a baseline, because there's very legal topics, it's helpful to have that. Now,
background.
It's also really important that we defer to town council, who's always also on the stage.
Right, the Norfolk's town council, which you would could never cross into because because of a conflict of interest.
So I think it's helpful that a lawyer understands that if you are a lawyer, I think it can be helpful. If you're a municipal lawyer like I am, I think it can be really helpful. Yeah. That doesn't mean it's a requirement.
No.
I think it's been a plus. Yeah. I think that, frankly, Norfolk has enjoyed the benefit of having someone with my experience. Right. I think experience matters. It's not a requirement, but I think it can be a real strong benefit.
Okay. And as a municipal lawyer, this is what you do every day. Okay, well, that was great. I just wanted to emphasize the fact that town meeting, which people sometimes roll their eyes thinking, oh, I got to get there. But that is the basis of the democracy. That's the way that the towns exhibit their democracy, right? It isn't in the big picture. It's very important, and I know Massachusetts has that, but do all states have? No,
Massachusetts is really unique. There are other states that use a town meeting style. Massachusetts is what we call a home rule state. So each of the 351 cities and towns has their own government. Makes their own decisions.
Right, it's not a county.
Cities don't have town meeting, but every one of the towns do have town meeting. So you really have an opportunity to shape what happens in your town, how the money is spent, what the bylaws say, what land you buy. That's really important. Right. So even if you don't go to town meeting, look, do I wish that more than 200 people went to town meeting? That's about our average. Sometimes more if something sexy is on the warrant. Sometimes less if it's a boring warrant. Yeah. But I think it's awesome that we can get 200 people together to help discuss these things. And that's typical for towns our size too, about 200. So I think it's really important. But even if you can't get to town meeting, I still think it's important for you to know that someone who is capable and experienced is the moderator for two reasons. One, because if town meeting runs smoothly and the discussion is robust and fair, good things happen. People that represent your interests, even if you can't be there, will have an opportunity to talk and sway debate. So that's really important. The other reason why having a capable town meeting moderator is important to you, even if you don't go, is the town moderator appoints the advisory board. Right,
that's the secondary role.
The advisory board is a check and balance on all the other boards, especially the select board. So the select board designs the warrant, puts it out there, designs the budget. But then the advisory board gets to review all that and make recommendations. In fact, in our town, they make the first motion at town meeting.
Okay, to accept the warrant.
Yeah. And it's been really important for me over the years to make sure that our advisory board is reflective of all the diverse viewpoints that our town has. So it's important. It's been important for me to appoint people of different age groups. So not just young parents, which I think are important, but also seniors whose parents, whose kids have left,
Yeah.
and they have different interests all on their own. I look for people from all walks of life. We have some lawyers, we have some government officials, we have some accountants, which can be really helpful.
Yeah.
I have some police officers, which is really important because that's a huge component of our budget. I've had teachers in the past. So it's really important to have different views expressed there. And I really don't think that town politics or politics in general has much to do with town governance. But I kind of look back at who I've appointed over the years, and it's probably equal parts Republicans,
Right and
Democrats,
left, yeah.
independents. I really don't look at that when I appoint people. Kind of looking back, I'm like, oh, there's a nice mix out there of conservative views and liberal views.
Right.
And that makes for some really good discussion by that board. And they end up with making decisions that I think are reflective of the kind of compromise you need
Right.
when you get to town meeting and are making decisions on a 50, 60, $70 million budget.
Right. Yes.
So-
Okay, that's great. I'm glad I was going to ask you about advisory board, but I have seen that is the other role of town moderator, and it's an important one because that shapes the town,
It
especially
can,
like you said with the diverse views. Because the tolerating of people with other views.
It's
we've
really
lost that
important.
bit.
I think, there are moderators, very politically charged moderators who will only point people that share their view. And so then you see a real roller coaster in town governance.
And an echo chamber.
To me, despite the fact that I have strong views on things, I think it's been really important for me to appoint people that I don't necessarily agree with.
On everything.
My only requirement for people when I appoint them or contemplating appointing them is, are they willing to work in the best long-term interests of the town, not short-term interests, not quick political statements. Are they willing to invest their time and look towards the town's investment in the town's future? And that's really all I care about. I think it's kind of worked out. I know they have good debates at the advisory board, but I think it's reflective of the kind of mixed bag that we have in our population as a whole.
Right. Yeah, it is. Norfolk is a mix of.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay. Well, I feel like we've covered your personal background, your work as a municipal attorney, your town experience. Is there anything that you would like to add as to why you're running for re-election another term, or serving the town? Anything along the lines that we haven't
No, I
covered?
mean, I think we've covered a lot of it. I really think that it's important, as even in my 12 years of being moderator, so much has changed about governance. Budgets are so much tighter.
Yeah.
The law is so much more complicated, whether it's fiscal law or zoning law. I think it's more important than ever that we have someone with experience in these very technical roles.
Right.
This is a very technical role, and
Yeah,
it's
surprisingly so.
non-policy
Yeah.
oriented. And
Yeah.
if town meeting doesn't run well, then we all suffer.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I'm the perfect example of what a moderator should be, but I think Norfolk has gotten the benefit of my experience, and I want to keep providing that experience for as long as I can, and as long as people will still elect me 5 times. It's gone okay.
Right.
So
You've won 4 elections.
looking for one more, and I guarantee I will continue to serve the town in a fair and impartial way.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And it's, as you mentioned, it's not a policy position.
No.
It's more logistical in that way, right?
Right.
It's about logistics. And you are definitely a steady servant of our town. So I don't have any other questions. I think it's great. Like, just to give a snapshot of who you are, what you've done in town, why you're running again.
Right.
And great. So I think, let's wrap it up.
All right. Thank you so much.
And as I try to mention when I do these little sit downs during the election season, and early voting is already gone because
I voted this morning.
That's right. You said.
Yep.
Yep. So early voting has begun. And the town election day is Tuesday, May 6th.
Yes, make a plan to vote.
Yep, Tuesday,
It's
May
not
6th.
easy.
Or come into the town hall early, right in the front door, and you can vote early.
Right.
Those hours are posted on the town website, on the town clerk's part of the website. But yeah, Tuesday, May 6th, Freeman Kennedy School is our town election. Jay Talerman, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it was great to chat with you in
Nice
this way.
chatting.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
And good luck.
Thank you.
And on behalf of NCTV, I'm Jill Hinley Lawrence, and thanks for watching.